Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So this month we have double payments going out to certain beneficiaries of Social Security, as well as payments of right around $1,900 on average going to the others. So we will be covering that. Plus, we have yet another one of our lawmakers that we elected into office to go to DC and represent our country, who is once again being indicted by the DOJ, this time for taking bribes from other countries, at least allegedly so. But before we go ahead and dive into the main content of today's video, if you wouldn't mind helping me out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Plus, if you would like to receive up to $200 in free stocks or $200 in free cash, in a pinned comment below, I will be leaving a link to Robinhood. All you have to do is once you click on that link is just sign up for a free account and then link your bank account. You don't have to deposit even a single penny. Once you link your bank account, Robinhood will be sending you one free stock worth all the way up to $200. And if you really just have the cash to invest, all you have to do is once you receive the free stock is just sell it for what it's worth and then transfer the cash value right back to your bank account. Okay, so diving right into our lead story of today's video, and surprise, surprise, it seems like another elected official that we sent to DC to try to make our country better is just been indicted by the DOJ allegedly on a bribery. There was a bank in Mexico City, as well as taking bribes from the country of Azerbaijan. And things aren't really particularly looking good. And he's actually right in the middle of an election season. He's already come out and saying that he's not going to drop out of the election because of these charges. So he's going to continue going on. So not only do we have Donald Trump under charges, not only do we have Robert Menendez under charges, he's in the Senate and he's not going to step down either. But now we have Henry Cuellar also under charges, as well as his wife, allegedly taking nearly $600,000 in bribes, at least according to this indictment. Let's go ahead and watch this clip.
We are now getting breaking news out of Washington. CBS News has learned Congressman Henry Cuellar is being indicted by the Department of Justice. Cuellar and his wife are being charged with conspiracy, bribery, money laundering, and acting as an agent of a foreign principal. He denies any wrongdoing. Texas congressman has served in the House of Representatives since 2005 and is the former co-chair of the Congressional Azerbaijan Caucus. Back in 2022, his home and Texas office were searched by the FBI as part of an investigation into businessmen with connections to Azerbaijan. Cuellar's lawyers at the time said he was not the subject of the investigation. For more on all of this, I want to bring in CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane. All right, Scott, you've taken a look at this indictment. What more can you tell us about the charges?
The prosecutors are alleging a rather elaborate scheme by Congressman Cuellar and his wife to enrich themselves in return for official acts or political acts by the congressman on behalf of the Azerbaijan government and a foreign bank. Among the allegations here is that Congressman Cuellar's wife set up this shell company in which she signed on as a consultant to various businesses tied to the Azerbaijan government or the bank, and didn't really do any work. And the payments were, in fact, payments in exchange for acts undertaken by the congressman. And this 54-page indictment, Elaine, lists a whole series of alleged acts taken by the congressman to benefit the Azerbaijan government. I'm looking at some of these allegations, including helping with an immigration issue for an Azerbaijan citizen, but also helping to put language into legislation to help geopolitically or the security interests of Azerbaijan. And what's important here is some of this allegedly was undertaken from the congressman's post on the powerful House Appropriations Committee, which helps figure out where U.S. tax dollars go. They're also alleging here he tried to navigate some of the military legislation passed by Congress and swing it to the benefit of Azerbaijan. In fact, in one message they alleged in 2014, the earlier window of these allegations, they say Mr. Cuellar wrote good news to a point of contact, an Azerbaijan diplomat, about some language he got included into the National Defense Authorization Act that would be favorable to Azerbaijan. Elaine, they're alleging there were payments made to the congressman and his wife to coincide with some of these alleged acts by the congressman in Congress. Elaine, I'll underscore something else. This is not the first member of this Congress to be charged by the feds. There is another charge against Robert Menendez, the New Jersey senator, also accused of taking bribes. And famously, there was that fraud case that's still pending against the former Congressman George Santos, which helped lead to his expulsion.
And Scott, looking through this indictment, you mentioned some of the period of time that these allegations date back to. It does cover quite a number of years. I wonder what else stood out to you from this indictment.
Yeah, the length of the allegations is quite something. They're iterating acts in this indictment as early as 2014 and through 2021. That timeline is important because we know there was a court-authorized search of the congressman's home in Texas in 2022. And we learned at the time from sources that it may be tied to a federal investigation of Azerbaijan and foreign businesses. Exactly what we're seeing in this indictment. The references to his work on the House Appropriations Committee stands out to me, in part because it's potentially the most powerful of Congress's committees. When you sit there on that panel, you have extra leverage. He was a ranking member, the top Democrat on the Homeland Security Subcommittee for the House Appropriations Committee, a uniquely powerful perch. And we learned just before coming on now, Elaine, he has temporarily at least stepped aside from that ranking member seat on the House Appropriations Committee. That was announced by the House Democratic leader, Hakeem Jeffries.
All right, so that repercussion, Scott, a direct result of this indictment. Anything else that you're hearing right now in terms of reaction? I know this is a story where the details are just emerging at this moment.
Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader, in his statement says Mr. Cuellar is entitled to his day in court, and then we reserve judgment pending that. But politics may not be the primary concern, but they're not absent in this case because Henry Cuellar represents a competitive district. It is a dogfight each time for either party to win that part of South Texas. Clearly, he runs the risk of being more vulnerable or getting calls to step down from his pursuit of re-election based on what's happened today. In his statement today, Mr. Cuellar didn't allude to his political future, but said that unequivocally that these allegations are false and that he and his wife have not engaged in misconduct.
So obviously really crazy stuff here, but I gotta say, I guess it's not entirely surprising that we have people like him, allegedly at least, I should say allegedly, and perhaps others taking bribes from other countries or other people or other businesses in order to, help them out. We have people coming into Congress making a certain amount of money, but then they leave a few years later and they're multi-millionaires. So is it really that much of a surprise that these people are taking bribes and receiving a lot of money outside of what they're receiving as far as their congressional checks go? Leave a comment below if you're all that surprised either, and how many of our elected officials do you believe are also committing some act of bribery where they're receiving outside funds from people who donate to them, perhaps even other countries or other organizations or businesses outside our country? Leave a comment below what your thoughts are on that. And then, of course, in our last story of today's video, this month there are going to be certain beneficiaries receiving double payments, double Social Security checks. We're going to be covering why the rest of them are going to be receiving one check on average of right around $1,900. So according to Newsweek, Americans receive $1,900 checks as government sends double monthly payments. So Social Security recipients will get $1,900 payments today, and many could expect double payments this month. May payments are underway from the Social Security Administration for retirees and people living with disabilities. The first payment went out May 1st for all Supplemental Security Income SSI recipients, but the next payment went out just 2 days later on Friday. This payment is specifically for Social Security recipients who started getting their benefits before May of 1997. On May 8th, recipients who were born between the 1st and 10th of the month will get their monthly check. A week later, those born between the 11th and 20th will follow suit. And then finally, on May 22nd, beneficiaries with a birthday between the 21st and 31st will receive their payments. And then SSI recipients will then get their second check, which counts technically, I guess, as just their June payment on May 31st. That payment arrives a day early because June 1st is on a Saturday this year. And anytime the first of a month falls on a weekend, like a Saturday or a Sunday or a holiday, what happens is that you just receive that payment a little bit earlier, usually on a Friday. So there are a few months every year where this takes place. And that month, one of the months this year, of course, happens to be in the month of May. But that's all we have for today's video. I certainly hope that you enjoyed and found value out of it. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. And I will see you in the next video.